Welcome to Political Paradigm. I'm Terry Ikumi. The state of the nation, 65 years after, is still in focus. Matter of fact, I believe the conversation should stay alive the whole of October. It doesn't have to end on the 1st of October after the usual presidential address, which for many Nigerians has become a cliche. Now, time was when almost everyone looked forward to a presidential broadcast. What has changed? Are Nigerians at a point where the words are no longer enough or reassuring? Does a presidential speech no longer inspire hope? Just what exactly could be the reason why it no longer seems like a big deal to tune to a 7 a.m. presidential broadcast, especially on Independence Day? Well, the president had a lot to say in his address. While he reeled out some of his administration's successes and challenges, he wrapped up his speech with these words: "Let us be a nation of producers, not just consumers." And I'll add that Nigerians want policies and an enabling environment that supports businesses. The president says, let us farm our lands and build factories to process our produce. The top requirements here are security and government incentives. He also says, let us patronize made in Nigeria goods. Now, this is very good, and government officials must be seen to be taking the lead. Then the president ends by reminding us to put Nigeria first and pay our taxes. Anyways, let's begin the conversation now. I'm joined by a lawyer, a public affairs analyst, a columnist, and a member of the ADC, Barrister Kenneth Okonkwo. Nice to see you again. Welcome to Political Paradigm.
Thank you very much, and thank you, viewers, for joining in.
It's been a year since our last conversation, and you look fresh.
Thank you very much. Well, it looks like yesterday, you know.
Anyways, let's talk about this now. You followed the president's speech. I dare say that contrary to what I observed, because I asked a lot of people, a lot of young people, about the president's speech, and a lot of them didn't wake up at 7 a.m. to follow, and it was really disheartening because that's not what I grew up to. I used to look forward to that. But before we delve into the details of the president's speech, let me ask you this. Did you look forward to the president's Independence Day address? And I'll generally ask you what you thought was missing and perhaps what's different or what was different from his other two addresses. This was his third address as president.
Well, let's first of all agree that it's a truism that not just the young ones, but nobody looks forward to President Tinubu's speech. Being honest, I listen to it because I'm a public affairs analyst. People are going to question me on it. Otherwise, I would not listen to it. And why would people listen to propaganda? In those days, our leaders tell us the truth. But Tinubu has used 3 years of his regime. He said, this is my third address, to give us propaganda. Propaganda is an information, especially of a biased and misleading nature, that is used to promote a particular cause, a particular doctrine or point of view. So the underlying thing is misleading. The president made a broadcast. As he was making that broadcast, the president is running 3 budgets at the same time. 2024 supplementary budget, and 2025. Purely illegal and unconstitutional. Against Section 81 and against Section 318 of the Constitution, the financial year shall be 12 months, running from 1st January to December 31st. The National Assembly has the right to say it will run from June 1 to May 30th, but cannot exceed 12 months. This is the president that is running 3 budgets. Did you see it reflected in the speech? This president is now supervising $100 billion in loan, national loan, weighing this country, trying to kill this country. Did you see it in the speech? The president said he removed oil subsidy. And can you imagine the president saying that the subsidy was benefiting only a few? What a lie. We were paying 195 naira before the removal of subsidy. And we are now paying 1,000 naira. And you are telling me I am not benefiting anything when I am paying 195 naira in a product, that it is now that I'm going to pay 1,000 naira that is benefiting me. That is a lie.
No, but those are two different things.
No, they are
One
not.
second. The difference is the president talking about those benefiting from the scam of subsidy.
Good.
As one thing. Then you talking about the impact of him removing that subsidy is another thing. And I say that because there's not one politician who ran for office in 2023 that did not say they would take away subsidy. Perhaps the mode of removal of subsidy, but they all agreed that subsidy would go.
Good. I was coming to explain to you the difference. What the politicians of my own cadre was saying when I said I was going to remove oil subsidy is that I was going to remove the incompetence and corruption in the subsidy, not punish Nigerian people. What has been happening is higher prices growing every day as a result of the incompetence and corruption, not any subsidy given by the government. That's what we don't understand. Oil is our product. Now I tell you what subsidy means. Subsidy means that you as a government, that you have done everything you're supposed to do, yet the cost of producing that commodity is higher than what the people can bear. So if you give them a higher price, more than the cost of producing it, they can't afford it. So you are now compelled to sell at a lower price than the cost of production. Then the difference the government makes up. Very good. We are producing oil. So gradually, when we built our 4 refineries, we were net exporters. There was no need for subsidy. So gradually, through corruption, they started crumbling our refineries. And then they needed more money because they started importing in dollars. And then they needed more money to pay, to cover up, transferring the cost, higher cost, to the people, transferring their incompetence and corruption to the people. So if you rewind it and build the refineries and allow private people to come in and supply crude to them, you have rewound the incompetence and corruption, and the price will come down. I give you an example. Before the GSM came in, we were paying a whole lot to get a line, not 9 knots if you remembered, from the Nitel. What happened? When GSM came in, we were even paid billions of dollars, and we gave licenses to the people that can do it. And they started doing it. 2 of them came in the first time. You know what they told us? They say it's impossible to bring telecom to us per second basis for the next 10 years. When Glo came in and brought the per second, the other competitors went back to per second. Today, we are still enjoying data at a commensurate price, not because there is subsidy, but because there is efficiency in the management of it. Competition. And then the supply is there. When President Tinubu removed subsidy the first time, I granted interview before 24 hours. I said, Mr. President, this will be unsustainable. What you should do is ensure regular supply and ensure there is no monopoly.
What would be unsustainable?
And this price,
would be?
The price that will result from your purported removal of subsidy will be unsustainable. Nobody is sustaining the transportation system. Nigeria is being run on corruption. Nobody will. You can see the civil servants. You can see that they've reduced the number of days that they come officially so that they will be able to bear it. You can see in your home. I said a woman's child died because she couldn't afford transport to take her child to hospital because of malaria. So forget all this talk. That's why I say it's propaganda. And I'm talking about the subsidy. If Dangote came in, if you have 2 more Dangotes and you supply them oil, crude oil, the oil will come down to 200, 300. So what they are telling you, subsidy removed? No. There was no subsidy in the first place because oil is our product. So what I'm saying is, if you remove the incompetence and corruption, the price will come down. They were simply increasing prices because they wanted to transfer the burden to the poor masses so that they will continue to have more money to spend on their private jets, on building the vice president's office with 21 billion, or house with 21 billion naira, to drive Cadillac beasts, to do all these things when people are dying of hunger and hardship. There was no subsidy in the first place. So saying few people we are benefiting. No. The rich, corrupt class, we are benefiting. They are still benefiting till today. That's why Dangote was, saying, why are you people still, importing when the product is here? No, they wouldn't want to. When they told you the refineries are built, they went and put smoke, and smoke went up. That was the cost of about $10 billion. And after the smoke went up, the refineries are still dead. That is what is making that price high.
I want us to stick with the president's speech.
Yes, it was his speech.
Yeah, another thing is that there are quite a number of things that have been repeated over time. Nigerians perhaps are tired of them, subsidy removal or not. But the most important conversation now is the level of inspiration that Nigerians perhaps picked from the president's speech. Was there anything from the president's speech that could give hope? Because I know that while you talk about Nigerians suffering, the president did reel out some of the things that his administration is doing to address some of the concerns.
All right.
I know he talked about student loans, he talked about credit card for the youths and more. He said quite a number of things that he thinks, that he believes his administration is doing that would help us, and in his own words, we have turned the corner.
Good.
Did you not feel any form of inspiration from the president's speech?
I said I felt depression. I was depressed because the president told you he shared 330 billion naira to 8 million homes. Who are they? Did people from your village get it? Because I don't know about mine. 8 million homes. That money is blown. Assuming you even sent it to 8 million homes, you say 25,000 naira per month. What can it afford you? If that 330 billion naira was used to invest in power, because the president himself said if he doesn't give us power, nobody should vote for him. That was his words. In Senate climb, he shouldn't even contest because he has not given us power after 3 years of his speech. And indeed, the tariff for power is even rising, increasing. Meanwhile, he said he will remove oil subsidy in order to give us such infrastructure. Yet he's still billing us more for the infrastructure. What have we gained? Now, he talked about education. He said he was going to give us education. If he gave us education, will ASU and the subsidiaries be threatening to go on strike? The president seemed to be thinking that quantity of something gives any relief to people. He was reading out. In the olden days, you had one secondary school. Now you have 1,000. Sorry, we're talking about the quality, not the quantity. The quality in public institutions of education is gone. ASU has been crying since 2009 for relief. One would have thought that after removing oil subsidy purportedly, he would have addressed that issue. He did not. The question is, with removing oil subsidy, with borrowing all this more than any other government before, what have you done? When the education and the educational institutions are in distress, when the health care is in distress, when every indices of infrastructure is in distress, then what have you achieved?
Are there no signs of progress? And I ask this because just like you mentioned...
Yes, we are not stable, we have stagnated.
There's the argument that this president did not cause everything that he's being accused of, that certain measures had to be taken, which is why the pain has increased. The health sector, I know that the Minister of Health has been moving around with the Minister of Information, trying to address some health centers. I know that the cancer centers are being rejuvenated. And then the president in his speech talked about an economy that is growing fast. He said, and you could, if these details, because whether we like it or not, in assessing a country in terms of their development, you must look at certain indices. And one of those indices is the growth rate. And if you look at certain indices, you must look at certain measures that are being taken. And if you look at certain measures that are being taken, then what have you achieved? Are there no signs of progress? And I ask this because just like you mentioned...
Yes, we are not stable,
the economic growth of that country, the human capital development of that country. And these are some of the things that the president has outlined. And I'm just going to give them out to you. He said that in just 2 years, the GDP has grown by 4.23%, which is Nigeria's fastest pace in the past 4 years. It outpaced the 3.4% projected by the IMF. He also said that inflation declined to 20.12% in August 2025, which is the lowest level in 3 years. While the argument is that when will this translate into improved standard of living for the people? My question is, are we making progress? Is it as fast as, it may not be as fast as we want, but are we making progress so that the Nigerians out there would understand whether or not we're making progress? Do you dismiss these claims by the president?
First of all, I do not agree with the figures this government is reading out because they have rebased the GDP. They have rebased the inflation. Like you rightly pointed out, if the figures are real, it will be felt positively with the people. You're not feeling it because they are not real.
Is that not something that will be felt with time?
No. It will not be fed at all. It will not be felt at all. When President Tinubu came in and started with those two policies, I told Nigerians you are going to be hungry throughout Tinubu's regime. When Dangote refinery was coming in, I said, the product of Dangote refinery is not going to be cheap. Why did I say so? What we are suffering is cost of production induced inflation, not demand pull inflation. What this means is that as long as your cost of production doesn't go down, your price will never go down. The company will rather fold up because it cannot sell below its cost price. Now, look at this. All the expatriate companies are folding up and running away. J&J just left. Why are they running away? Toxic environment, hyperinflation, multiple charges, high interest rates, frequent policy flip-flop. All these things. You don't have security, you don't have power. High energy costs. There is no way your price will ever come down. So that inflation was rebased. It used to be 34%. From nowhere, they told us it's down 24%. And the man from the Bureau of Statistics, watch his face. He was reading it and he was embarrassed. And he even said, that does not mean the price has changed. If it does not mean the price has changed, inflation is the rate of increase in prices. So what are you rebasing? So what I am saying is assuming without conceding that those figures are even true. What did this government say? They said they were going to give you $1 trillion economy by 2030. The entire GDP that they have is about $243 billion. They have taken us from the largest economy in Africa to the fourth, assuming it's growing by 4.23. Give them even to $80 billion because that is what I heard some of their people saying, that it's $280 billion. Which is not true, because 372 trillion naira comes up to $243 billion. So give them, even if it's 300. You know what it means? It means that if it's growing at 4 point something, it is only about $12 billion per year. Check it 5 years from now. We're talking about $60 to $70 billion. Add it to the $280 billion or even $300 billion. It will give you what? Around $360 billion. And they are telling you they will give you $1 trillion economy in 2030. That's propaganda. That's misleading the people. That's why you will not see the effect of whatever they are saying in the lives of the people, because they are full of lies and propaganda. Anything you bring in that speech, you will see that it is very depressing. You say the security is improving. And right under his nose, a lady flew from the Story building to run away from armed robbery and armed robbers. Right under his nose. His neighbor here in Abuja City. A doctor, a veterinary doctor has just been killed, kidnapped and killed. The 3 children are still nowhere to be found. The wife just gave birth to a little child. That doctor was the chairman of the Veterinary Medical Association, whatever, in Abuja here. That doctor happens to come from my town. This happened in Abuja here, in Kubwa, Tinubu's neighbor. And you can see such senseless. And you're hearing about these people because they have a name. Many of all other people that do not have a name, you don't hear about them. More than 500, 600 persons perished in Niger State, natural disaster. And more will still happen because nothing is being done. They are warning about rain now coming that will take around 16 states. The government is aware of this. They are doing nothing. People are still allowed to travel on boats.
Is that a federal government responsibility?
Absolutely.
Where do the state governments come in?
You had blue economy. That's the resources of these inland rivers, inland, and everything is federal government. That's why I'm even saying, this government, if they are wise, they will devolve powers to the states and do not allow people to blame them for everything. I've been talking about state police, for instance. I will blame my governor if my governor has state police. I will blame Niger State governor. I will blame Governor Zulum. The Zamfara state governor has made it clear. I know we are disciplined.
But the president seems to have a body language that suggests that he would be open to state police if it is passed, and he would sign it.
All the things he had body language that he meant, they went through the National Assembly within 2 days, including changing your national anthem.
No, this is a constitutional amendment process.
And I'm telling you, if Tinubu wants it today, it will happen within 68 hours.
But I'm saying, the
Yes.
president says...
I am saying that body language is political. He does not have any intention to give state police until after 2027 election, because they intend to use the federal police to do something that they did in 2023. He even told people, politics apart, that state police is the best. 3 years into your regime, you've not done anything about it. Other things he wanted that needed to be changed. The tax reform is more complicated than giving a state police. State police will simply maybe amend one section of the Constitution. The tax reforms had to amend so many. Brought in 4 different tax. Complicated. You know what? Even his own vice president, with the Council of State, begged him to please slow down for more consultation. What did he say? He said, no, it will continue. And now the tax has been passed. Anything Tinubu wants with this rubber stamp National Assembly, he will get it. He doesn't want it. And it's terrible that he's playing politics with the security of Nigerians. I am embarrassed and ashamed.
Let's talk about the impact of the federal government social investment programs.
You recall when the Zamfara governor said, if I'm giving state police, he swore by Allah that within 2 months, nobody will hear anything about insecurity in his state. Is it not worth giving it to him?
Very well, then. I also think that the president, since he has said that he's open to state police and national assemblies in the process of passing
And that's what you say.
We would be open to seeing whether the president will sign it
That's
in
propaganda.
good time, because the Constitutional Review Committee is wrapping up pretty soon, and let's see whether that bill makes it to the light of day. But then the social investment program of the federal government is something that I think we should talk about. And the reason is that it's supposed to be more impactful because these are models that the country has picked from other countries. India, for instance, started this special works program for its people, which we had picked up in the last administration. But then again, this 330 billion naira that the president says is shared to 8 million households. With all this and the question of who got what, because the data is not available, I also try to get the details of that. And I think one of the government officials had said that they can't publish the names of the people who benefited from it for security reasons. Didn't make sense to me at the time. But when you look at all this, do you think that this country should continue such a social investment program?
The country ought not to have even started it in the first place. You're seeing open robbery, and you're saying, if they cannot publish it, democracy thrives on transparency and accountability. Whatever you cannot publish in a democracy is a classified document that has to do with the security of the state. Any other thing is outright stealing and covering corruption.
So from your understanding, how best can a social investment program be effective?
You know, there was one American president during the time of depression, economic depression. He said, no, don't give money free to people. If you don't know what to do, go and tell them to dig a hole. And after a while, tell them to go and cover the hole. so that money will be tied with work. So that you create the impression you have to work. Create jobs for people. Stop sharing Nigerian money amongst your rich elite, pretending you're giving it to the people. If you cannot, is it the people that are receiving the money that are saying you shouldn't give them, you should not publish their name? Tell me the armed robber that will go and risk his life to go and steal somebody 25,000 from somebody. If that is all he has, you prefer to die. You're giving somebody 25,000 naira a month, and you're saying you can't publish it for security reasons. Security of what? That an armed robber will go to look for 25,000 naira to risk his life.
The
or what?
The argument
Now,
is that the people for whom this 25,000 is meant,
yes,
are not. It's a big deal to them. It may not be nothing to you, but somebody who doesn't have 500 naira would very much cherish 25,000 naira.
So what is the security risk?
But it could be robbed.
Well, like I said, it will be very ridiculous. Why I'm saying this is assuming. Why I say I don't support it. Assuming that is even true. Something that will last for 3 months. You give them 25,000 naira. It stops the third month. Then they will die. Like the widow of Zarephath. That said, this is my last food. Let me eat it and die. That is why you just have to teach them how to fish.
But how else? How else? Well, because government doesn't.
How else?
Provide
if you provide
employment.
power, direct employment is giving them electricity.
But a power situation.
This nation is the most Nigerian youths.
Yeah, the power situation.
They are the most intelligent human beings on earth. The most creative human beings on earth. We created Nollywood from nothing.
Well, what level of progress do you expect this administration to have made in less than 3 years?
What are you talking?
Considering decades.
In America, psychologists, economists went into research and said they would give any president 4 years because they were sure that 4 years you would deliver. Can't you see? That is 4 years you used to read up many degrees in the university. So if you can read up a degree in the university for 4 years, you cannot achieve anything for 4 years. That is evil propaganda.
You think the president hasn't achieved anything?
Nothing.
But he's increased the foreign reserves.
Increase the foreign reserves?
Yes.
Oh, you don't know the trick? The trick is rather than taking that money, borrow more dollars and leave that one.
Well, he also paid off
to deceive
some of
and to
our
bewitch
loans.
Nigerian people. How can you have a foreign reserve which you are not paying interest, and this year alone you have borrowed 21 point something billion dollars? That's why I said it's bewitchment that they are doing now. They've upgraded from falsehood to bewitchment. What they're doing is enchantment. You're saying your foreign reserve is increasing and your debt is increasing to $100 billion. Foreign reserve increased to $42 billion. Can you imagine it? What's the ratio? Not up to 50%. Your debt now is $100 billion. So what sense does it make? You're borrowing $21 billion and you're saying your foreign reserve is increasing. That is bewitchment.
Anyways, let's look at Nigeria from a broader perspective. Because as we celebrate 65 years of independence, I like to look at things beyond this administration and ask questions like, over time, where did we drop the ball in terms of leadership? Have we had it bad, let's say, since 1999 till now? Have we had it bad? Or did we have a moment or two when we had leaders in power that meant well for this country? Because the president in his speech also praised our founding fathers and said they had plans, they had dreams, they had vision for this country. It's interesting that we speak 65 years about people who died decades ago, and the current leaders or immediate past leaders we've had don't seem to want to etch their names in the sands of time for good.
Nigeria started deteriorating from 1966. Agreed. You can't have a perfect society. But those leaders that our founding fathers had conscience. They didn't have oil, but Awolowo was able to provide free education to all the young children with cocoa, proceeds from cocoa. Zeke did same with palm oil. Amadu Bello did same with groundnut. Now you have oil. The people are interested in sharing the money, not baking the cake. The reason is because oil came in and they saw cheap money. And you have men who do not have vision. So the military men came, took as much money as they want. The civilians that came after them had already become used to that military mentality of, I can do whatever I like and nothing will happen. And the Second Republic came. Then the military that came after Buhari became very comfortable with corruption. So today, what you have is, that is why the leaders are more interested. Give us more states. Give us more local government. Nobody's talking about viability. You know what? So that they can get more money for themselves. Look at the National Assembly. The only time they quarrel is when there is a problem amongst them in the division of money. Not when there any issue about the people is discussed. A president that is telling you, let's be producers, not consumers, has consumed only foreign imported goods. He had the opportunity of giving the National Assembly members made in Nigerian cars. He imported all of them.
Was it his import?
SUVs.
Was it his import?
Yes, of course.
Oh, the president wasn't responsible for that. It was a National Assembly decision.
Oh, wow.
Wasn't it?
That's where you got it wrong. The budget and the estimates of the budget are done by the president. And if the president himself...
The National Assembly budget.
If the president himself is driving made in Nigeria goods, who are you to request otherwise? So it's the president that executes whatever. Even the National Assembly building is built by the president. It's being executive branch. So it is the president that executes. Budget is a law. Good. If the policy of government is that no foreign goods will be imported, it becomes the policy of the government and everybody.
It's almost impossible for that.
Everybody's under the law to obey it.
Import and export is part of the
Maybe you forgot that it's only the government that determines what comes into Nigeria by law. So National Assembly, go and say you will import foreign-made goods and it's not the policy of the government. It won't cross the port and there's nothing they can do because the power to execute is of the executive. So I want to tell you the level of hypocrisy. A president that is telling you Nigeria first, everything from what he uses, from the suit he wears, from where he goes for medical treatment, is Nigeria last. But he will come to his speech and he'll be telling you Nigeria first. I don't like to listen to that. I'm just listening to you because I'm a public affairs analyst. What are you telling the younger ones when you're sick, you run to Paris? I don't have a problem with that. But don't come to pretend that it's Nigeria first. When you want to ride a car, you ride Cadillac Beast. There are Nigerian-made cars. And Nigeria first. How? How? So to me, Tinubu's regime is Nigeria last. And it's not about saying it. It's about doing it.
Let's talk about opposition politics now. I read Professor Patutomi's statement.
I am an ambassador made in Nigeria goods.
Well, that's good. I read Professor...
You see from my dress? From everything about me?
Yeah.
Proudly Nigerian.
But she was Nigerian too?
Proudly Nigerian.
Well, let's talk about opposition politics now. I think that as far as opposition is concerned in Nigeria, it is, in a democracy, it is a very vital part of a democracy. And Professor Patutomi thinks that opposition parties no longer play the role of opposition parties. You're in the opposition now. And this opposition conversation is beyond coming on TV to criticize government. What do you think about opposition parties and their role in a democracy, especially with regard to Nigeria?
You know, democracy in Nigeria is not working because the basic pillar of democracy is free, fair, credible, verifiable election. We don't have it. We have very virile opposition. That I can tell you, including Patutomi. Patutomi went as far as forming a shadow cabinet. That is being proactive as in opposition. The courts just declared it illegal because they say there's no place in the constitution. So the problem we have is that institutions of democracy are not working. So even when the opposition scores a good point that ought to give them power, and the people vote for the opposition, the ruling party will rig it and through technical glitch, they will steal the election. So the truth here is that except there is attitudinal change from the operators of democracy, the opposition, they are doing their best. But I can appreciate where Patutomi is coming from, because the main opposition parties now, like PDP and Labour Party, before the coming into existence of ADC, they are practically dead. PDP has not just become dead, they have become, a joke. Can you imagine what is happening in PDP now? The national secretary and national chairman are quarreling as to who will issue notice of meeting. Notice of meeting. PDP is becoming a caricature. So, when you see it from that, can you imagine national chairman, national secretary, and they cannot agree on convention? Wike said that the Southeast Zonal Executive Committee is illegal. The South-South Zonal Committee is legal. His own party, the chairman, national chairman, they are saying that the Zonal Executive Committee of South-South is legal, is illegal, the one done by Wike, and the one of Southeast is legal. Confusion. I will not be surprised that somebody already has in his pocket the injunction to stop the Ibadan Convention and is working towards it. Because when they are now talking about notice of meeting, this is preparatory ground to ensure that nothing works in PDP. Any politician that is still looking at PDP, look at what's happening in Akwa Ibom. The PDP National Secretariat set up a caretaker committee. They say they have dissolved the executive committee. Why? Because they say that the governor has taken over the PDP apparatus in Akwa Ibom. And look at the national secretary saying no, they cannot do anything to that executive
Why
committee.
are you so particular about
Confusion.
the People's Democratic Party as
Because
a member of the ADC? I know you
Yes.
were once a member of the PDP, but the ADC itself is
Yes.
supposed to be playing the role of a strong opposition.
Very well.
Even
I'm coming.
though
I'm coming to that. I'm just trying to tell you why Patutomi
made that statement.
because they have seen that PDP, which ought to be the major political opposition party, is now a caricature. Now LP is gone, because as I'm talking to you now, there is no national chairman that INEC has recognized. Abure is gone by Supreme Court decision, so will never come back. Then now this man has not been recognized. So it is just, I don't know whether you just call it a party for now. Until, so the only opposition party now is the ADC. And INEC, by September 10th, is an organization, as the only organization that is the supervisory organization of political parties, has recognized the David Mack executive. So practically, ADC just started September 10th. It's not even up to a month. But I give you one word. ADC is going to play opposition party and will send APC back in 2027 in the presidential
The
election.
ADC already seems to have some form of internal crisis.
I'm not aware.
Well, you could say that.
Educate me.
But the thing is that when you have, they are, you know how strong the obedient movement is. You were part of that movement. And now the ADC has told Peter Obi to leave the Labour Party and join the ADC officially. We have Atiku there, we have El Rufai there, we have Amechi there, and these are people who have presidential ambitions. And the argument is that the argument within the ADC, you could correct me if I'm wrong, because these are reports we get, is that they want to throw it open and say whoever wins, everybody else will support. But Peter Obi's people, the obedient movement, we've even had a spokesperson say it's either president or nothing. So with this sort of confusion within the ADC, considering the strength of one and the strength of the other, can you confidently say that the ADC is not going to go through the same situation with the People's Democratic Party and that it will present a formidable opposition in 2023?
First of all, I'm not aware of any confusion in ADC. You said obedient movement. Have they told you that members of ADC?
But the ADC has said that Peter Obi should join the ADC officially.
A member. That's what I'm saying, meaning he has not joined. So where's the confusion?
So that's why I said.
So confusion can only come.
But he's
members of
ADC. That he
yes.
supported ADC candidates in recent off-season.
He went for
elections.
the unveiling.
It's the same thing.
He told them to remember from the one. He said obedience are not members of any political party.
Absolutely.
So they can support any party in any election. That has been their policy. So what I'm trying to tell you is that before you say there is confusion in ADC, you have to first of all prove that somebody is a member.
No, I'm saying it's looming.
No, it cannot loom until they come in as members. That's when you can say there is confusion.
So that's the point I made.
Yes, if eventually they did not come in as members, that's their opinion.
Okay, so that's to wrap up this conversation. We have 65 years have come and gone. And the coming years will determine whether we've learned lessons from the past 65 or not. When we talk about development of a nation, what do you expect to see in Nigeria's development future?
You know, I expect to see a homegrown development model where the South will be transformed to become, if you go to all these countries, Asian countries, you see the way they transform their islands to become a super tourist, center. We're so blessed. I would want Lagos to be changed from being a slum. Do you know that in Lagos, they don't have pipe-borne water? They don't have light? A youth corps described Lagos as a smelly city. They are still punishing her for that. I want Lagos to be transformed, to be the home for all, to be the gateway, to be a Dubai. I want the North to be transformed to be the agricultural masterpiece. We have arable land. I want security to be restored, that every Nigerian that goes to sleep sleeps with two eyes closed and wake up in the morning very energetic. I want Nigerian GDP to grow because we have what it takes. I want Nigeria to export oil and all the different products of oil to all parts of the world. Can you imagine? It took Dangote 3 years to build a refinery. It took Nigeria 30 years. They couldn't repair existing refineries. You know what that means? That we have the capacity to achieve in 3 years what the failed leaders could not achieve in 30 years. So in 3 years, if we remain focused, we can transform this country. So anybody telling you in 3 years they can't achieve anything is the excuse of a failure.
Barrister Kenneth Okonkwo, I'd like to thank you very much for coming to speak with me on Political Paradigm.
Thank you.
And we will have more conversations around politics just as the season draws closer.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Thank you very much. Now let's switch the conversation. Let's speak with Kate Henshaw. Kate Henshaw is an actress and she speaks on a lot of national issues. She joins virtually from Uyo. Kate, welcome to Political Paradigm.
Hi, Terry.
Kate, did you catch the president's speech on the 1st of October?
What happened to it? I didn't listen.
Oh, why? Why didn't you? I mean, it's a routine or regular October 1st Independence Day speech, and I'm going to take it from there because I know that quite a number of people I've spoken to did not wake up at 7 a.m. to catch that speech. What do you think has gone wrong?
Oh, it was even at 7 a.m.
It's always 7 a.m. I mean, what do you think has gone wrong? You didn't catch this speech. A number of people I've spoken with, they didn't catch this speech either. This is not what we're used to. We're used to waking up at 7 a.m. when the president has an address. What do you think has gone wrong? Especially young people.
There is no connection with the people whatsoever. They're carrying on as if they don't need the people, and the people are carrying on trying to exist and survive whatever onslaught they have been throwing at them. So people are busy trying to sort out their everyday lives, trying to be safe, trying to care for themselves, trying to get food on their tables, trying to find other sources to power their homes and their businesses. They are busy trying to do what they've been doing for years, becoming a government unto themselves. So people are busy. The only thing I think I heard was there wasn't going to be a march past or celebration or whatever. I think that's the only thing they got right so far.
Well, I see you have a lot of interactions with young people by nature of your job. A lot of people are drawn to you because you're a celebrity, and it is beautiful to have celebrities speak on national issues because you have followers. So among young people, why do you think that over time the faith in government has deteriorated? And I'm not just speaking about this administration. So what do you think young people are concerned about with regard to governance? Because the president seemed to have reeled out some things that he has done for young people. We've also seen the president's son act as a youth leader in certain fora to, sort of show the youth that they're being carried along. Do you not think that this is a step in the right direction, especially with this administration, if you compare to previous administrations?
Like you said, I would not dump on this administration in particular. It is successive administration, especially, no, let me go back. The one before this one is the same government, same political party. So they really cannot divest themselves from what is going on and say, oh, the normal rhetoric is we inherited. You were part of it. You stood suddenly behind your candidate who ran the government for, or didn't run it for 8 years. So you can't say you knew everything that was going on. You stood solidly behind the candidate, and so I feel that it has to be more of tangible work done that the people will feel. Even the young people, they're finding their way. It's not about rhetoric. It's not about moving around and seeming to. The young people are not getting the support that they need. You can see it clearly, even in the way they're being vilified by authorities, the complaints, everything is seen online. The young people are more interested in drugs and doing all sorts of all manner of stuff. And those who are serious, but those who are not are not.
Well, when you
And we
say
have
when you say support that young people need, what sort of support do young people need? Because we've come
they
to
need
realize that there's an increase in political participation by young people. They want to get involved in politics.
Yes, because they believe that just sitting by is not going to help anymore. They also believe that, I pray that they're not going in to continue in the ways that we have seen things done. Their interest is surely there's a better way. Surely we can do better. Surely with our numbers, our innovations, our technology, we can change things. I remember once where I won't say where I had to go for a training for some members of the National Assembly, and they were saying something about having to buy a newspaper to put out their adverts and all that. I'm like, you can just put it online, put it on social media that you are having this kind of hearing or whatever. You don't need to buy adverts anywhere. That ship sunk ages ago. There's technology. There are easier and faster ways of doing things. But you guys are stuck in archaic ways because that's the only way you are going to sort of skim off the top. It's truly unfair that Nigerians at this stage of 65 years, we're still a government unto ourselves. We're still crying about security. Everybody knows we are not safe. We're still talking about healthcare, even to the lowest in the rung of the ladder, which is the primary healthcare center. They are not what even the politicians will send their maids to. We are talking about food. We're talking about electricity, which powers everything. And people are having to look for alternate sources of electricity. We now have wait for the discos. We will get gen. We will get solar. I don't know. Let's say we have to buy gas and pipe into our walls just in case the day the sun doesn't shine, we don't have power from the solar. Like it's crazy. Once it rains, you are guaranteed of not having electricity. No, now we're in the 21st century. Others are just have moved on. Why are we still in the tunnel? It makes no sense. But then we pick and choose the laws and the things from other countries that will much more put burden on the people, not the good aspects. All we Nigerians want is the basics. Give us the basics and let us fly.
Okay,
Give us the basics.
you know that while we blame the leadership, there are those who will say that the followers put the leadership there. And there are those
Yes?
who will now
Oh, they
say
didn't drop
that
from the sky.
yeah,
They
absolutely.
didn't drop from
So
the sky.
Nigerians who vote these leaders should be held responsible because this is a democracy and governments can only change during true elections. So when you look at the Nigerian population, do you think we're getting to that informed position where we make decisions based on what we understand them to be or what they can deliver? Or are we still torn by ethnicity, religion,
Yes,
and
yes,
that's
we
what you'll
are.
see. So that means, so you now fear that that is the same voting pattern we'll likely see.
That's going to be it. And it's going to get worse. I'm
Why?
not a predictor. I'm not a predictor of doom. I mean, just seeing the conversation online, which is why I've not been on, especially X, which is, I think it's a very good platform for engagement and all of that, where you can have a discourse with across board. Now, the conversation there is very tribalistic, and it wasn't this bad. It wasn't this bad. We have seen polarization of tribes just because of a candidate or the other, and people are going in, people are going personal, I've even been attacked before. They put me inside their WhatsApp group. I won't mention the party, they know themselves, not that I care. But it is so much hate. I saw one tweet about some guy that wrote about Made Kuti because he married a girl from another tribe. I said, oh, this is one of the betrayers. Like, it was never this bad. And it is the politicians who have driven this wedge. My pity is for the people who have jumped on the bandwagon and are causing this strain, because the problem that is going to leave behind, we have not even begun to see it. I wish and I pray. No, let me leave prayer. I'm tired of praying. I wish we will just get on our oars and paddle this country to where it should be. Look above every politician, whatever tribe, religion. We don't look at that. That is the beauty of being a Nigerian. The diversity in our culture, in our religion, in our hearts, in our spirits, our resilience. But we need to bring that energy work for us so that we get the Nigeria we deserve.
Absolutely. Well, just before we go, Kate, I want to ask you this question. The president's ongoing plan to widen the tax net, how do you think? Even let me
Please.
get the question out. You have a problem with that. It's normal practice for tax to fund the infrastructure of a country. Why do you have a problem with the president's plan to widen the tax net?
Let me tell you, first and foremost, I have no problem with taxation. No problem, because I believe it is what a good citizen should do. But what are you doing with the taxes? What are you doing with the taxes? Because I'm a government unto myself. I'm providing myself everything that you say your taxes will provide for me. Even the road that, if I say, oh, I'm doing it, I'm not saying the road they are driving on. The road is bad. Who do I speak to if I feel that the traffic lights in my area, which for 6 months now hasn't been functioning, if I tweet, they'll say I've started problem. Where do I go? If I reach out to the Commissioner of Transport, he won't answer. So where do I go? If I go to the local government, maybe they'll say, this one has come again. So where do people go to help support to make things work? It's just social media. I have no problem with taxation, but you are picking and choosing what you want to do, and you're not even showing working of what you are going to do with the money. We don't have anything. And so nobody should come at me and say, oh, it's because you don't have money, that's why you're not doing. But you guys are rewarding yourself. You increase your salaries, you buy yourself cars and all the luxuries, and you're telling the people to, oh, hold on, it's almost done. The light is almost at the tunnel. No, stop it. Give people the basics, and it's not something that you're going to receive an applause for, because that's the description of your job.
Basically, just as we wrap this up, one more question. I want to end this conversation the way I ended with Barrister Kenneth Okonkwo with regard to Nigeria's future. When we talk about development, this is 65 years. It's come and gone. The next question would be, in coming years, what would we say? What would you say we've learned from 65 years? And so I ask you, what do you want to see in terms of development for Nigeria in the coming years?
I want a Nigeria that will harness all of its potential and become the giant that it should be. We are not. We are just giants in numbers. All other countries around us, Kigali, which is Rwanda, Ghana, they've all gone ahead. Gambia, all of them, they are moving. Which country is it that just had all the females as the president, vice president? I saw it. What's the country? It's all females. Now we are still fighting Senator Natasha somewhere. Let's leave that. I want a Nigeria that truly comes into its own, where we don't need to know anybody, to do anything. And things just evolve because we are using technology and we have all that we need at our disposal. We're capable of so much. Look at entertainment. That is something that has taken off on its own. Thankfully, government is not truly involved and they didn't even start it. Thank God. That's about one of the only things that is a shining light to us in this country. I know we are capable of so much more. I know the people want better for themselves, but they have to also be prepared to make a sacrifice. It's not going to be easy.
Thank you so
The
much,
battle,
Kate.
for the battle for the things that are important cannot be won in a day.
Kate, I thank you so much. And we all have the same dream. We all have the same dream. It's now left for us to ensure that we pick the right leaders. And I think
Yes.
that's where advocacy comes in, and people in the rural areas must be able to speak. But then again, the fact that you mentioned the people online who are educated people to an extent, who you expect to make more informed decisions and yet spread hate is a major concern
It is.
for this country. Well, thank you for your time, Kate.
You're welcome, Terry.
Thank you very much.
Cheers.
Thank you very much. Well, that was Kate Henshaw, an actress and someone who speaks on national issues. Well, it's always good to have a conversation beyond the politics, beyond politicians, and I dare say public affairs analysts sometimes. But yes, if you'd like to catch that conversation up again, please go to YouTube and search Political Paradigm or go to channelstv.com. You can catch that conversation and the one with Barrister Kenneth Okonkwo. I'm Terry Kumi. Happy 65th Independence Anniversary, Nigeria.